So one of the things that we were most looking forward to about coming to Marrakesh was the food. And I wouldn't say we were disappointed last time we were here, because we did have some really good stuff, but it was quite hard to find places, wasn't it? Like, I feel like unless you've spent a considerable amount of time here, or like you know where you're going, because it's just so busy and so compact, it's really difficult to find all the good spots. So today we are going to be doing a food tour, and the guy is going to take us around loads of local best spots, and I'm sure there's going to be some stuff that we've tried because we have been here in Morocco for a while now, but also I think there's going to be some stuff that we haven't tried, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, we're just heading there now, and they said come hungry, so that can only be a good sign, right?
So we're starting off with something called bagri. Rashid has just told us that it's called the bread with 1,000 holes, and it's very similar to something that we have in England. It looks very similar, called a crumpet, but it's slightly thinner than that, and Rashid has just explained exactly what goes into making it, and it's completely different ingredients, so it's semolina flour rather than just wheat flour. To go with it, we have also got some yogurt and some amlou, which is an almond paste. So I'm really excited to get into this. We've tried these already, but we didn't know what the name was, so that's quite exciting to understand, and we haven't had it with any toppings either. That's delicious.
It's good?
It's really good. The amlou is nutty, it's sweet. And the pancake, the texture's really soft, it's fluffy. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so what we're having with the bagri is something called tripe. And it is, basically it's yogurt. And I've just tried it. This is really delicious. It's completely not what I expected. I expected it to be quite sour, but it's actually quite sweet. And it's a homemade yogurt that apparently lots of families make here for themselves in Morocco. Adi loves it too. Well, this stop is the local bakery, and it's a community bakery, which means that families that live around here can actually bring their own dough and get it baked in this oven. But it's not just dough that you can bake here, it's anything that you want. So it can be chicken wings, it could be sardines, any kind of meal that you want baking, you can get it into this community oven. And the reason that people bring them here is apparently because it's cooked on wood fire, which gives it that extra bit of flavour rather than the gas fires that they might have at home. So it is meant to be really common still that people will bring their own dough and their own bits and pieces of food and just get them put in this oven to cook, and then that's their dinner for the day. Amazing. Rashid had prepared some sardines that went straight into the oven to cook, whilst we went upstairs to take a look at where the bread is made. In addition to cooking whatever people bring in, this place knocks out an incredible 3,000 to 4,000 loaves of bread every single day. Little did we know we were actually going to be put to work ourselves. Following a very quick demonstration, it was Sarah's turn to have a go at shaping the bread for its final rise. And let's just say that after both bakers tried and failed to impart their knowledge, they gave up, pretty unimpressed with her technique, and soon roped me in to see if I could do any better. And whilst I wasn't the quickest worker, they were pleased enough to offer me a job with an immediate start. Unfortunately, I had to decline, as I wanted to get downstairs to try those sardines that had been roasting in the oven. Yes. You can tell who does the cooking out of the two of us. Rashid stuffed them into freshly baked bread, and after a small squeeze of lemon, it was time to eat.
It's good. Yeah, really good.
Those sardines were absolutely delicious. You can really taste the flavour that the wood fire imparts in them. Next stop is we're going to make our own tangia. We've been given one of these. I'm really excited to see what this involves. We haven't actually tried tangia yet either. It's something that we've been really dying to try, but we just haven't as yet. It's a speciality of Marrakesh, so it is a local favourite. Let's go.
Okay, we've got the beef in the tangier now, and we are going to head to the next stop to put some more stuff in it.
The saffron tripe smell. So we had the smell,
Yeah.
preserved butter,
Yes.
preserved lemon,
Yeah.
saffron,
Yeah.
cumin, garlic, olive oil. 6 ingredients, no more, no less. Of course, later I'm gonna add water,
Yeah.
and then it will be slow cooked for the coming 2 hours.
Okay. But that's just the traditional.
Yes, this is how you make it. You need to add all these ingredients and take it to the hammam for it to be cooked.
Okay, we're going to take our tangiers now and put them in the oven, like underneath the hammam where they heat the steam rooms up. So this is kind of like another communal oven that they have in the Medinas. And Rashid was just explaining to us that what people do is they bring their tangiers here, go in and scrub themselves down, have a good clean, have a good wash, and then on their way out, pick this up and their lunch is ready. Then just to take home, and you've had your bath and get your lunch, and yeah, just like, wow, it's just blowing my mind like learning all this stuff.
Rashid and the pitmaster Mohammed put the finishing touches to the tangiers by adding some water and covering them with paper before putting them on a bed of smouldering embers to slowly cook down. Mohammed then showed us the other part of his job, because while his main gig is keeping the fire going for the hammam above, he can do whatever he likes with the flames that he's creating, so earns a little extra cash by cooking people's tangiers, as we've seen, but also preparing other food like cows' hooves so they can be used to make meals with. This guy spends the entire day down here, from sunrise to sunset, and let me tell you, that place was seriously hot, and he works incredibly hard. We left our tangiers under Mohammed's expert care and headed on to the next stop. Something that Morocco does amazingly well is sweet treats, and the next leg of our tour was at a pastry shop where we once again went backstage to get involved in the making. It's remarkable how true masters of their craft can make what they do look so simple. And it's only when you try and replicate that seemingly simple task that you realise the skill and experience that goes into doing it so well. Folding pieces of pastry into a triangle or around a peanut filling doesn't sound very complex, and yet it's deceptively difficult to get it right.
Like that you would be able to find it.
I don't think he's going to sell that one.
Put that in the bin.
Next up was what looked like a slightly threatening, ginormous sausage. Wow.
That's it.
Oh, that's good.
So what is this that you're eating?
I've forgotten. I can't take all the information in.
What we have got, seeing as Sarah can't remember, is called spleen. And I mean, Ada is so keen to try it. She's just seen it cooking. So what it is mincemeat, onions, potatoes and carrots, and I think some spices and herbs. And that is all stuffed into the spleen, and then it's cooked in the oven. And this is what it comes out like. The part of the Medina that we're walking through right now is a really local spot, and it is very residential. So this is where people do actually live. And it's kind of hard to believe because the majority of the Medina here is so touristified, I suppose. It's all aimed towards selling goods and stuff to tourists. But this part that we're walking through really is just where people actually live. And You can tell the difference. It is so quiet. There aren't any sellers, there's no shops or anything like that. And there are 150,000 people that still live within the walls of the Medina. We carried on walking through parts of the market that we simply would not have found or explored without Rashid, and were amazed to discover that most of the stuff sold here in Marrakesh is actually made in the back alleys of the Medina. From leather bags and belts to handcrafted shoes and sandals, traditional musical instruments, woven baskets, and much, much more. Okay, we've arrived at our next spot, and this is where we're going to be trying some skewers. We have got chicken skewers, liver skewers, and we've also got some lentils and some white beans. And Rashid was just telling me that here in Morocco, the beef liver is actually the most expensive part of the beef. And I can't believe that, because in England, I'm pretty sure it just gets thrown away. So this is a real delicacy that we're going to be trying right now. I'm very excited about that.
So this is a local food.
Yeah.
You will try it. If you like it, keep going, and eventually we will tell you what it is. If you don't like it, it never happened.
The flavour's good.
The flavour's good. I think I know what it is.
Do you know what it is? Is it tripe?
I think it's tripe, yeah.
It's what?
Tripe?
Tripe?
What is tripe?
The cow stomach? Yeah?
Yeah?
Yes.
Ordinarily, tripe is our most despised food, both of us. However, we do always try it whenever we're offered it, because there have been a couple of occasions when it has been actually very nice. And this is one of those occasions. This is really delicious. I don't know what it's spiced with, I don't know how it's cooked, but it doesn't taste overly tripey. It is just really, really flavourful. The other dishes, other than the tripe, are white beans, the lentils, and the liver, and the chicken skewers that I mentioned before. And it is all really, really delicious. The lentils are kind of smoky and really simply spiced, but very, very tender. They're slow cooked. The white beans, very similar, but they've got a little bit of sweetness to them as well. And the skewers are just amazing. The liver has got a little bit of suet on, which gives it an extra added bit of flavour. And the mixture of the liver and the suet is just amazing. And the chicken skewers are slightly lightly seasoned with coriander and cumin, I think it is, or maybe turmeric. And yeah, again, amazing. Cooked over coals, smoky. This is amazing. I just asked Rashid why that last restaurant was called Monsieur Fromage, Mr. Cheese. And he explained that the father of the person who was doing the grilling was actually someone who invented this sandwich, which is really famous and popular here now in Marrakesh, which is a cheese sandwich with boiled eggs. And apparently the son, when he took over the restaurant, he doesn't actually like cheese, so he completely changed it. He stopped doing the cheese sandwich and he turned it into a grilled skewer restaurant instead, which is something that he much prefers. But it's really funny because obviously it's called Mr. Cheese and the guy doesn't even like cheese at all. This next dish that we are trying is a rabbit tagine. Sarah's already tucking in. What do you think?
Good. It's so good. This is my favourite thing so far, and I've only had like 2 mouthfuls. Honestly, it's
seriously?
Good. Yeah.
I'm going to put the camera down. My gosh, Sarah was not wrong when she said that this was amazing. This is probably the best rabbit that I've ever tasted. It is that good. And it is pretty simply cooked as well. It's got garlic, it's got lots of onions. They're kind of caramelised on the bottom, as you get with a lot of tagines. It has got preserved lemon, and it's got some coriander, and I think that's about it.
It is. It's really, really slow cooked. So there's not that many elements to it, but there's lots of different stages to the process that it goes through in terms of being hung up and like coated in something and marinated in something, and then like all the onions, like that's the key part of it. Like there's a lot of onions in it that makes sure that the rabbit's not dry. But yeah, so good. I'm gonna have to stop eating because I think we've got another 5 stops still.
We have.
But oh my gosh, it's so good.
The next thing that we're trying is called khleh, and it is beef. It's salted and preserved, and it's hung up for a week, and then it is slow cooked in some beef fat, and this is what you end up with. Now we have actually tried this as well, but in a different form. It's also made into a breakfast of the same name called khir with fried eggs. And that's how we tried it, but we haven't tried it in its purest form, so I'm really excited to have a go at this. It's kind of like beef jerky.
That's what I thought it was when we had it with the eggs. Good?
It's really good. Tastes nothing like beef jerky. I forgot to mention as well that it does have turmeric and olive oil also, and you can really taste those flavours in it. But when I said that it's nothing like beef jerky, it's because it's a completely different texture. It's not leathery like jerky. It is actually quite soft, and I assume that that's from the cooking it again, and the oil as well, the oils that come into it. Just really, really flavourful. And the other reason why this is done, I think, is because it preserves the meat, like we said, and you can keep it at room temperature for between 6 months and a year. This one that we just picked up is called broth, and it is filo pastry. It's the same pastry that we made the sweets with earlier, but it has obviously got a different filling. This one we have gone for cheese, and it's also got noodles in. This stop we are trying snails. We have tried snails a couple of times before. The most recent time was in Spain, in Madrid. And I just had to explain to Rashid that the last time that I had snails, I was actually quite ill that night. It was completely unrelated. It was nothing to do with the snails, because Sarah and Adi also had the snails and they were absolutely fine. However, I now kind of associate that feeling with eating snails. I'm still going to try them, but I don't think I'm going to scoff them like I did the rabbit. But I'll give it a go.
They're good, yeah. They're completely different to the ones that we had in Spain.
It's delicious.
They're alright, aren't they?
Really, really nice, yeah.
Try the broth. Because it's got licorice in it and you can really taste it.
That's very aniseedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, so this is Harira. It's good, it's really good. Let's see what Rashid means by it. It's quite sour, so you need to balance it with some sweetness, with the dates or the pastry. Then you can also put a little bit of lemon in or vinegar as well, just basically to your taste, but it's really good.
In the Harira, it's a base of tomatoes, onions, parsley, coriander and cumin. And then there's lentils, white beans, chickpeas, whatever else you want to put in it as well. So it's a really savoury soup. And then to put dates or actually a sweet pastry with it is just really hard to get your head around, but it works. After the Harira, it was time for some liquid refreshment, and we opted for our new favourite drink, pomegranate juice. Rashid explained that rather than squeezing the pomegranates, the stalls around Jamar al-Fanar actually extract the seeds and blend them, which helps avoid that kind of tart, acerbic taste that you can sometimes get with pomegranate juice. You really can taste the difference in these juices. This one is really sweet, there's no bitterness at all, there's no dryness, no sourness. It is just pure sweet pomegranate, delicious.
Now we are heading to a terrace to meet our tangia. Someone has picked it up from the hammam for us and they've taken it over to where we are going to eat and enjoy it. Wow!
Look at that. Good.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good day. I am absolutely stuffed. Really need to go back and just lie down, I think.
For about 2 days, yeah, to recover.
Rashid said that the tour basically sets you up for lunch, dinner and breakfast the next day, and I think he was right.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, as Sarah said, it was absolutely fantastic. I do just want to point out that it was not sponsored, we were not paid to do the tour, we paid for our own tickets. However, we will put a link to this tour down below if you do want to do it yourself. and we'd highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely one of the best tours that we've ever done.
Definitely the best food tour, for
100%
sure.
the best food tour. So yeah, we'd highly recommend it if you are in Marrakesh. And this is where we're going to leave you. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up down below. And if you're new around here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. We'd love you to follow along on our journey. And if you subscribe, then please hit that little bell button as well so you get notified every time we post a new video. Next week, we will be exploring some more of Marrakesh and trying to squeeze in as many of the things that you guys suggested that we should do. Catch you then.